For the Lich King, the dead shall serve. Let darkness guide me as the shadow wills. Intriguing. For the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me.
Wait till you see me.
The restless dead await. Intriguing.
Greetings, my lord.
As the shadow
Welcome to
wills.
our village.
What does
What
the
is
shadow
it?
will? This better be.
Hello.
The restless dead await. Intriguing. What does the shadow will? This better be good.
More work? Give me something to do.
The dead shall
Aye.
serve. Let darkness guide me. This better be good. The restless dead await. The dead shall serve. For the Lich King. Intriguing. What does the shadow will? For the Lich King, the restless dead await. This better be good. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. The dead shall serve. What does the shadow will? Intriguing. For the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me.
First blood.
Let darkness guide me. None shall survive.
Tremble before the scourge.
This better be good. What does the shadow will? As the shadow wills. Intriguing. For the Lich King. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. They'll all be mine.
Tremble before the scourge.
Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. None shall survive. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. Die.
Tremble before the scourge.
For the Lich King.
Hello.
The shadow restless dead await. The dead shall serve.
Wait till you see me in action.
What does the shadow will? The dead shall serve. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. None shall survive. Die. None shall survive. Die. They'll all be mine. As the shadow wills.
Double kill.
Welcome to our village.
The restless dead await. This better be good. Let darkness guide me. This better be good. The restless dead await. What does the shadow will? The dead shall serve. This better be good. For the Lich King, the restless dead await. Intriguing. Let darkness guide. As the shadow will. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King. Intriguing. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me.
Tremble before the scourge.
As the shadow wills. The dead shall serve. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide. Let darkness guide. Die. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. For the Lich King.
Tremble before
for the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me, for the Lich King. Darkness guide me, none shall survive. As the shadow wills, let darkness guide me. What does the shadow will? As the shadow wills, for the Lich King. Let darkness guide me, for the Lich King. Intriguing. As the shadow wills, as the shadow wills, for the Lich King. Darkness guide me, let darkness guide me. Intriguing. As the shadow wills, for the Lich King. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me, for the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me, for the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Die! None shall survive. Intriguing. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Darkness guide me. Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. This better be good. The restless dead await for the Lich King, as the shadow wills.
Tremble before the scourge.
Greetings, my lord.
The shadow. What does the shadow? Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. The dead shall serve. What does the shadow do? The dead shall serve. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. None shall survive.
Tremble before the scourge.
As the shadow wills. As the shadow wills. Darkness for the Lich King.
Tremble before the scourge.
The restless dead await, as the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. This better be good, as the shadow wills. None shall survive. True. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. Intriguing. They'll all be mine in the end. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. The dead shall serve. For the Lich King. What does the shadow will? As the shadow wills. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. The restless dead await. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Die. Darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Darkness guide me. Our brother's town is under as the shadow wills. None shall survive.
Tremble before the
restless dead await. What does the shadow
Killing
for the
spree.
Lich King? This better your word shall serve. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King. Darkness guide. Our town is under attack. The restless dead await. Retreat as the shadow. Retreat. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King.
Dominating.
As the shadow will. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. Retreat. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. Darkness guide. None shall survive. Let darkness guide. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me. What does the shadow will? For the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. This better be, as the shadow will. For the Lich King. Intriguing. Intriguing.
Tremble before the scourge.
Die. None shall survive. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. The dead shall serve. The dead shall serve. This better be good, as the shadow wills. Intrigue. What does the shadow will? As the shadow wills. For the Lich King, the restless death awaits. Darkness guide as the shadow will. For the Lich King, let darkness guide me. As the shadow will.
Tremble before the scourge. Tremble before the scourge.
For the Lich King, let darkness guide. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King, as the shadow will. Retreat. For the Lich King, the dead shall serve. Intrigue. As the shadow will. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. Let darkness guide me.
Double kill.
What does the shadow will? For the Lich King.
Hello.
As the shadow will.
Who you want me to kill?
This better be good. Let darkness guide me. True. As the shadow will. Darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. They'll all be mine. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. For the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Intriguing. The restless
Welcome
dead
to our village.
await. For the Lich King, let darkness guide me. Intriguing. As the shadow for the Lich King, let darkness guide me. The dead shall serve. Let darkness guide me. None shall survive. For the Lich King. Intriguing as the shadow will. Darkness guide me. For the Lich King. Intriguing. The rest of the wait. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. Intriguing as the shadow wills. What does the shadow will? Darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. This better be good. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. The restless dead awaits.
Dominating. Double kill.
Hey! The shadows beckon. For the Lich King. As the shadows. Darkness guide. As the shadow. For the Lich King. What does the shadow do? The dead shall serve. As the shadow
Tremble before the scourge.
let darkness guide me. As the shadow will, for the Lich King.
Tremble before the scourge.
Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. As the shadow will. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. For the Lich King. As the shadow. For the Lich King. Darkness guide me. Intriguing. As the shadow will. Intriguing. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow. Yes, my friend. This is best. For the
Tremble before the
as the shadow. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow. Darkness guide me. For the Lich King. For the Lich King. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow will. The dead shall serve. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. Let darkness guide me. This better be. As the shadow. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. As the shadow will.
Triple kill!
Greetings, my lord.
What does the shadow do? The restless dead await. Die!
Tremble before the scourge! Tremble before the scourge!
For the Lich King, let darkness guide me. The dead shall serve this land. As the shadow will die. Let darkness guide me, as the shadow will. For the Lich King, intrigue. For the Lich King, let darkness guide me, as the shadow wills. Intrigue. As the shadow will, let darkness guide me. For the Lich King, for the Lich King, let darkness guide me. What does the shadow will? As the shadow wills, let darkness guide me. For the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me, as the shadow wills. The restless dead await, for the Lich King. Intrigue.
Tremble before the scourge!
Die. Let darkness guide me, for the Lich King, as the shadow wills. Intrigue. Let darkness guide me. Intrigue. Our forces are
Killing spree!
the shadows beckon. For the Lich King. As the shadow. The shadows beckon. For the Lich King. As the shadow. the shadow will. Let darkness guide me. Intrigue. Die. As the shadow wills. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. Intrigue. Let darkness guide me. As the shadow wills. For the Lich King. Intrigue. Intrigue. As the shadow wills.
Tremble before the scourge. Tremble before the scourge.
For the Lich King.
Killing spree.
For the Lich King. None shall survive. Die. Intriguing. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me, as the shadow wills. The restless dead wait. Die for the next darkness guide me. Intrude for the next as the shadow wills. Darkness guide me. As the shadow guide me, intrigue. This better be good. For the Lich King, as the shadow will. For the Lich King.
Tremble before the scourge. Tremble before the scourge.
As the shadow will.
Dominating.
Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. The restless dead wait. Let darkness guide
No,
me.
no,
My
not
aid
like that.
required.
Let me do it.
The dead shall serve, as the shadow wills. As the shadow let darkness guide. Die for the the shadow will. Let darkness guide. Let darkness guide me. Intriguing. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Let darkness guide me. For the Lich King. As the shadow wills. Intriguing. This better be good. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. As the shadow will. Let darkness guide for the Lich King. As the shadow will. Tremble the horns for the Lich King. Darkness guide for the Lich King. Intruder, let darkness guide. As the shadow will. As the shadow as the shadow wills, let darkness guide. Intruder, for the Lich King. Darkness guide. For the Lich King. Tremble the horns. As the shadow. The restless dead wait. Let darkness guide me. The dead shall serve. What does the shadow will? For the Lich King. Intriguing. As the shadow will. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. Intriguing. Let darkness guide. Let darkness guide. For the Lich King. As the shadow will. As the shadow will. This
Double kill. Killing spree. Triple kill. Ultra kill.